Hey guys, Host Communications, and welcome to my review and sadly rant on the 2014 film Godzilla, or as I like to call it, God damn it, Zilla! Because God damn it, this movie sucked ass. This is my opinion, okay? And I'm pretty much alone on this. There's not, the majority of the people love this movie. The majority of the people who saw it loved it, enjoyed it, thought it was great, thought it was epic. I don't think it's epic. I think it's one thing, you know what? If it's one thing that it's epic at, it's epically shitty. It's an epic disappointment. It's an epic fail. And I'll get into more why I feel the way I do about this movie. That it's an epic fail. And forgive Spider-Man photobombing here in my reflected in my glasses because he's on my wallpaper and God damn it, Spidey, stop photobombing. But anyway, so I hope it's not too distracting for you guys. But Godzilla, like I really mean it. Like God damn it, Zilla. God damn it. I was really looking forward to. I'm gonna say it right off the bat. I think this is the worst film I've seen this year. And yes, I think it's worse than the RoboCop remake. Why? Because I had no hope for the RoboCop remake. I thought that was going to suck, and it did. This, I was looking forward to. The teaser trailers hooked me. The trailers hooked me. I loved the trailers. I thought they looked awesome. I thought the movie was going to be great. I loved the way that the trailers and the teasers didn't give away that much. And then, I was hyped. I was super hyped. I wanted to see it. And then I heard some reviews that didn't really help me much. And then, like I said in my talking cinema thing, I tried to look at a cam. I watched about an hour, whatever, for 40 minutes, and I couldn't see the ending. So what I ended up doing recently, yesterday, after, I got done with a couple things, I went and saw a matinee, I went and saw a showing uh, of Godzilla in the theater. I didn't see it in IMAX. I didn't see it in 3D. I saw it in regular 2D, in a regular theater, and I was bored out of my fucking mind. No, not out of my skull. Not my mind. My brain was so bored it wanted to break out of the back of my skull and run away. So it could have something to do. So it could give itself some exercise. Because there's nothing, that it could actually do while I was watching Godzilla, except each and every brain cell was starting to die, which every fucking second in this boring ass movie playing on the screen. I literally when I walked out of the theater, I literally wanted to scream at the top of my lungs like Godzilla does. When he the roar that Godzilla has. I literally wanted to do that shit. Just roar and just tear shit up and go find the Godzilla standee and stomp in pieces. I really think, honestly, I'm gonna say it. I like this movie more than the new one. Oh my God! Oh, it's such a sin. You like this one better. You're stupid. I'm gonna get people like that. People are gonna say like, "Oh, you like that one better. You don't know what you're talking about." Then fine, be an asshole. Okay, if you want to be an asshole about it, be an asshole about it. I'm not attacking you personally. Just because I like the Godzilla '98 remake more than the new one doesn't mean that I'm attacking you personally. So, in my opinion, if you like the movie, me not liking it should not affect your enjoyment of the film at all. And it doesn't. I don't understand people who get butthurt and freaked out about that. I don't even do that with movies that I like. If somebody goes in and starts saying, "Well, RoboCop sucks," and I'm like, "Okay, all right, that's fine." Would you elaborate on it a little bit more? That'd be nice. Tell me why you think it sucks, and then we agree to disagree. And in my opinion, that's how I feel about this movie. I agree to disagree with the majority of people who like this film. Because I don't like it. I think it fucking sucks ass. I think it's a giant fucking monster turd of a fucking movie that's boring and it's just nothing but a fucking giant tease. And then when you have the supposedly epic battles at the end with Godzilla, they fall flat like a fucking limp dick. That's how I feel about this movie, and I'll go into it further enough. With shitty characters, shitty acting, not necessarily shitty directing, but shitty writing. It's just all around a fucking masterpiece of shit. And I don't know, masterpiece of shit is not really, that's not really the best word to say. Like, it's a disaster. It's a disaster film, all right? The whole movie's a fucking disaster, in my opinion. It's just not what I wanted to see. And I understand it's kind of hard to really bash a film because it's not what you wanted to, but really that's ultimately at the end of the day, that's what you want out of a movie. You want what you want out of a movie. And this did not. I'm not going to compare this to this. I'm only showing this a few times. That's it. I think this is underrated, to be honest, but that's me and like maybe a handful of other people. But I'm not going to compare this one to the 98 film. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do, or any of the other Godzilla movies, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare and I'm going to judge this movie like I judge every other movie on my own sort of scale. Okay? And my own sort of scale, this movie fucking fails pretty much all across the board. So anyway, I've already pissed off a bunch of people. I already know it. It's fine. You know, it comes with the territory. I know it's coming. I had the same shit with Pacific Rim. I didn't like that movie, and people got on my case about that. Didn't like Prometheus. Got on my case about that. You know, didn't like Dark Knight Rises. Oh, Firestorm. You know, so it Man of Steel, didn't like that either, and I got a bunch of crap for it. But I'm being honest. I'd rather be honest than fucking be a pussy and not say anything and be like, it was okay. And it's fine if you think it's okay, but somebody who says like it wasn't bad or it wasn't good, you know, it wasn't really bad, but it wasn't really that good either. Then what is it? What is it? Is it good? Is it bad? I just prefer good. I prefer bad or good, okay? Or excellent or not excellent. Or shitty or awesome. I prefer that type of rating scale instead of in the middle all the time with every single movie you see. Or I don't. There's a lot of people who do that, but that's a whole nother story. I don't want to get on that tangent. I'm already off topic enough, probably, this review, this rant. I'm like 7 minutes in, and it's just because I don't fucking remember the movie, okay? I watched it yesterday. I don't remember a goddamn thing, so gotta look at the fucking Wikipedia page from the plot synopsis right now so I can refresh my memory, because I forgot about it already. That's how memorable and epic this movie is. Yeah, I fucking don't remember a single fucking thing about the movie. Except for one scene with Godzilla. That's it. Oh, and the others, and a few other things which I'll get to mention soon enough. But okay, before I get into the things I don't like about this movie, which there's tons of them, there are a ton of things that I don't like about this movie. I actually want to start with the things that I do like about this movie. For one, I think the effects are pretty good. It's an $160 million budget film, so the effects should look pretty damn good. For the most part, I think the effects are pretty good. I think the few sequences there are of Godzilla, which there are not enough of in my opinion, and not because I want 100 fucking minutes of Godzilla, not because I want wall-to-wall Godzilla, because I don't like being fucking teased. You tease me once, it's okay, alright. Okay, tease me twice, that's getting fucking annoying, get on my nerves. Tease me 3 times, fuck you. Tease me 4 times, I'm about ready to fucking kill your ass. Fucking tease me 4 times, motherfucking movie, or I'm gonna fucking kick your ass. Curb stomp your motherfucking ass. I'm gonna be shooting radioactive breath out of my mouth. Fucking tease me 4 times or more than that. Give me a fucking break. Is there something wrong for me wanting to see more Godzilla scenes than what I saw in the fucking trailer and the teasers? You know, I thought those were just like little clips that were used and put together for the teaser trailers, and that there was more Godzilla than that. And there's a little bit more at the end, but that's it. But really, majority of the scenes are Godzilla, except for the little bit at the end, which I don't even think is that badass, and I'll get into that soon enough. But a little bit at the end, all the other stuff that you see with the paratrooper guys falling out of the sky, with the red smoke, and the other stuff, it's all in the teaser trailers. It's all in the trailer. The stuff with the tidal wave, all of that's in the trailers. I thought there was more to it than the little teases of Godzilla that I saw in the trailers. And when I see the movie, and that really is pretty much it, except for like maybe, what, a minute or two of extra shit, that's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. That's fucking stupid. That's lame. Fucking horrible. It's a bunch of horse shit. I'm sorry. It's fine if you like that. I don't. Is it wrong for me to wanted to see more than just what the trailer showed me? I thought there was more to it than just a little bit of teases that I saw in the trailer and the teaser trailer. I mean, come on now. The movie's called Godzilla. It's not called Mutos and Humans featuring Godzilla. It's called Godzilla. And Godzilla isn't even the forefront of this film. Godzilla doesn't even show up until the 45-50 minute mark in this movie. And if you're going to be a slow burn, if you're going to do that, and you're going to build characters, then you better damn well have characters that I give a fuck about, that you actually care about. Because there's nobody in this film you care about except for Bryan Cranston, and spoiler alert, he fucking dies! So if you like that guy, if you like that one character, so the one character that you actually liked and you cared about, who could act, who could actually, give a presence to the film, fucking dies. And this is great. This is great. How many fucking movies out there have the main guy who's advertised as the main lead, who's advertised in the trailers as basically the star of the film, fucking die in the first 30 minutes of the movie, and everybody is fine with it? This is one of the few examples where people are fine and just dying a dandy, okay with that. And I'm like, bullshit, I'm not okay with that. That's a bunch of fucking bullshit. I shouldn't be happy with that. I shouldn't settle with that. I shouldn't have to settle with fucking white Mike Tyson motherfucker played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. It fucking sucks. So you kill off Bryan Cranston, and then you're left with the shitty ass lead character, and Aaron Taylor Johnson, who plays Ford Brody. Sounds like a fucking porno star title. It's their sort of tribute to Harrison Ford, and I guess Brody, Roy Scheider's character from Jaws. And I hear a lot of people praising this movie, and that's fine if you like it. But the comparisons to Jaws and Alien are not warranted, in my opinion, because in those movies, they had one thing, they had a lot of things that this movie completely lacks. It has character development, it has a little bit of a slow burn, but you know what it has? Aliens and Jaws have? They have good characters. They have characters that are written well. They have characters you care about. So when the slow build builds up, you learn more and more about these characters, and you learn and care about them a lot. You don't when the danger arises, when the alien or the shark comes into play, that it's so much more suspenseful because you've grown to love these characters. This fucking piece of shit doesn't have any of those elements. If you say it does, to each their own, but I will not understand. I do never understand that line of thinking. If you think that this movie is like Jaws and Alien because it has these characters that you care about. Even the fucking behind the scenes stuff that was promoting this movie, one of the actresses said that, oh, what's important about the movie, a lot of the movies you like, you have characters you care about, and I think we have that. Bullshit! Who the fuck do you care about other than Bryan Cranston, who then fucking dies? I'm left with white Mike Tyson, and if you don't like that fucking analogy, I swear to God, that's what I thought. I thought he sounded like Mike Tyson if he was white. His accent, everything, the way he spoke, white Mike Tyson. If you don't agree with that analogy, if you don't get that analogy or that metaphor, he sounded like an alien from outer space's interpretation of a Brooklyn accent. It sounded so fake, it sounded so unreal, and also he had no charisma. He had nothing to his performance. Aaron Taylor Johnson was fucking shit. He was a kiss ass. Yeah, he wasn't really a kiss ass, but I liked him in Kick-Ass. He had charisma, he had spunk, he had something in that movie. He has none of that in this film. It's like he got replaced by a fucking body snatcher or some shit. Like one of the spores from Invasion of the Body Snatchers came in and replaced his ass. And it doesn't know how to fucking act. That's what it seemed like to me. There's no emotion. There's nothing. He's like a fucking wooden doll or a fucking mannequin or some shit. There's nothing to that character. And the other people that I did care about, Ken Watanabe, he doesn't have that much to do. So he's not used properly. So Bryan Cranston dies. This is pretty much when Bryan Cranston died. This is what I'm going to bring up. You know how lame that. Okay, imagine if Jaws. Imagine if you saw Jaws when Jaws came out. Originally had this. It went this way, where you get to know Roy Scheider, you like this character, and then 30 minutes in, he gets eaten by a fucking shark. Would you? I would be fucking pissed. I'd be like, what the fuck is this shit? This is fucking bullshit. And then you're left with his son, who's played by some young guy who doesn't know how to act and has no charisma and has the fakest accent in the world. And he's the guy who is your lead now. I wouldn't be happy with that. I'd say, man, Jaws, that movie sucked. That's how I feel about Godzilla. You have a good character. Bryan Cranston's character is pretty much the Roy Scheider. He's the Brody of this film. He outacts everybody in this movie in the few scenes that he has as Joe Brody. And you you really just grow to like this guy, and you want to see more from this guy. And I really think it would have been cool if they would have had a revenge type film where it's not the Mutos that kill his wife, it's Godzilla. Godzilla kills his wife, and then he bands together with his son. He's going to try to find Godzilla. He's going to find a way that he can kill him because he wants to get revenge. How often does that happen when you have a revenge film where it's a human wanting revenge against a monster? This 100-foot tall monster, and the human wants to kill it. There's probably a few other movies like that, but that should have been the plot, in my opinion. Should have been Bryan Cranston's the lead. His wife gets killed by Godzilla. The Mutos could show up later, and then that's when he has to realize that, okay, you know what, I hate you, you big green motherfucker, scaly motherfucker. You killed my wife, but I'm going to tolerate you with you for a little bit so you can help fight these alien monsters, these creatures, because we don't have the resources to do so. But trust me, I will not stop, and I will keep on hunting you down, and I will not stop until you are dead. It's kind of like a Moby Dick type of thing. You know, Godzilla could be Bryan Cranston's Moby Dick. What's wrong with that? Then it sets up with sequels where you can still have the same character, this likable character, and you can have him come into the sequels and hunt after Godzilla. And maybe in the sequel he could die trying to find, fight the guy. But maybe not. Maybe he could just be in a trilogy that finally culminates in him getting his revenge. What's wrong with that? And maybe Godzilla doesn't die. Maybe he comes back to life or whatever, like a lot of Godzilla, like he does in a lot of Godzilla movies. But see, to me, that's just more interesting than a fucking bunch of faceless soldiers running around with their heads cut off like fucking chickens. Running around with like chickens with their heads cut off. You don't know anything about these soldiers. You don't even see their faces. And you have the one guy who, I guess, in the bomb squad, the whole rest of the bomb squad doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, but there's one guy, Ford Brody, who does. And so he runs around with the faceless soldiers. They get their asses kicked by the Mutos, and Brody's got to find a bomb. Ford Brody's got to find a bomb, and it's fucking boring, and it's lame. And you just keep watching it, and then you see the Mutos attack a train, and you're like, why am I watching Cloverfield 2? I thought I was watching Godzilla, not Cloverfield 2. But, it's not. And even the scenes with the Mutos aren't that epic. I don't think anything in this movie is epic except one scene with Godzilla when he throat blasts, the shit out of one Muto. That's it. Everything else was not much of anything to me. It wasn't that epic. Oh, he causes a tidal wave. Whoop-de-fucking-do. It's a bunch of fucking water. Might as well just been Godzilla's splooge. Or fucking ocean of Godzilla's splooge all over everybody. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand it. That's why I don't understand the love, the outpouring of just admiration and the applause people had at the end of this movie. I mean, I don't even this movie doesn't even deserve a golf clap. I'm not even giving it a golf clap. I mean, I know it's like I got to keep collecting myself because I'm just energy, just this talking about this movie just saps my fucking energy, man. Because it was depressing. It was depressing how shitty this movie was for me. And I understand, I know everybody, there's a lot of people feel differently, and I'm going to sound like a broken record with that. But I feel like I have to keep repeating that so then I don't have people who act like assholes about it, who say, like, oh, you don't like people who like Godzilla. It's like, no, I'm fine with it. Like I said, if you like a movie, it doesn't affect me that much. And the same thing should happen here. If I don't like the movie, it should not affect your love of the film at any point, and it doesn't. So anyway, I guess I'm gonna try to go into the go through the plot synopsis. I don't know why I started ranting on it. I was going to start talking about good things about it, but I'll get to them now. I'm 20 minutes in, and I said I was going to start talking about good things, and it's because Bryan Cranston was one of the best things about the movie, and I just had to get that off my chest. I mean, that's it's fucking aggravating. It's like I said, it's like if Jaws fucking had, Brody die, get killed by a shark in the middle of the movie, and 30 minutes in. It's like if Ripley died 30 minutes into Alien. I don't see how that shit is acceptable. I'm sorry. Where you're tricked into believing your lead is gonna fucking die like that. And they're like, okay, well, the Blob remake. Yeah, the Blob does that. The Blob remake does that. But you know what? They had Donovan Leitch, and he gets killed by the Blob, the guy who who you think is gonna be the lead. But then you have somebody who replaces him who can actually fill his shoes, and that is Kevin Dillon, who plays Brian Flagg, and he's a badass. Aaron Taylor Johnson is not a suitable replacement for Bryan Cranston. That's one of the biggest issues. Bryan Cranston could die. Him dying necessarily isn't I didn't want him to die. But if he died, and then he was replaced with an actor that was of equal caliber and a character who you cared about just about as much as him, then there wouldn't be an issue. But the fact is, in my opinion, Ford Brody ain't got shit on Joe Brody. Okay, Ford Brody ain't got shit on Bryan Cranston. So Aaron Taylor Johnson can't even remotely come close to replicating the knockout performance that Bryan Cranston delivered. He was excellent in the little bit that he had. And then you replace him with the fucking cardboard cutout. And that's who you follow for the rest of the movie. Can you see why I don't give a shit? Can you see why you have the hour and a half of fucking all the scenes of talking, all the scenes of the human characters? Can you see why I don't give a shit? Because I got a character in Ford Brody who's a cardboard cutout, who's emotionless half the time, who has a laughable accent, and is a shitty performance by Aaron Taylor Johnson. And that's the guy I'm following. You could see why I don't give a shit about the rest of the fucking movie with the talking characters and the character building and shit, because I don't give a fuck about the lead that we're following. So I don't give a fuck what happens to him. He could get eaten by a Muto or stomped on by Godzilla's foot for all I fucking care, and I wouldn't give a shit. See, when they were doing the production stuff, when they were doing the behind the scenes stuff, when they were saying, oh, important character, the best movies have characters you care about. I think we really tried to have that in this movie. Yeah, you had the right idea, but you fucking failed in the execution, Gareth Edwards, and the producers, and David Callahan, who did the story, and screenplay by Max Borenstein, who I think David S. Goyer also helped do some writing, and Frank Darabont. What did Frank Darabont add to this? And Drew Pearce? I mean, Frank Darabont, I know he can do better. I mean, he wrote the Blob remake. He wrote parts of The Fly 2. Those are two movies, in my opinion, that are 10 times better than this piece of shit. So anyway, try to go into the stuff that I like. Again, 24 minutes in, Bryan Cranston. I think, like I said, I think he's an excellent actor. I think he did an excellent job as this character. And he was likable, and you cared about him, and you felt for him. And then he doesn't even get his revenge. He doesn't even get it. Mutos show up and a crane falls on his ass like out of a fucking cartoon, and that's it. And then even the scene where he's dying on the helicopter, he says to Aaron Taylor Johnson, "Go home to your family." And then the shitty edit that happens afterwards makes it look like, to me personally, that his death meant nothing as overall to the overall scope of the film. Because after he dies in the helicopter, you hear this music. You hear dun 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 dun, and then it just goes to the aircraft carrier, more fucking military fucking gabbing. And I'm like, so that's, you cared that much about Bryan Cranston's death there. That had literally no impact because you just cut away with some epic music to have some people talking on an aircraft carrier, and that's it. He's dead now. Move on. We'll not let this death breathe a little bit and have a little bit of impact. No, we're gonna leave it with no impact whatsoever. But look, well, that's realistic. People die, and then it happens fast, and you got to move on. And it's like, yeah, so yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, when if my dad died, yeah, I doesn't matter what situation I'm in. You know, my dad died. I just move right the fuck on, and like, you know, seconds after he died, because, you know, he didn't mean that much to me anyway. He was just my dad after all. You know. See what I'm getting at there? They did not do his death justice either. So if you're gonna have him die, then give him the right amount of respect, you know, for the dead, so to speak. But no, it's da 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 da. It's like, what? That's another. So, Bryan Cranston, the little bit that he was in, he was great. He didn't deserve to die the way that he did. In my opinion, he didn't deserve to die in the first place. But like I said, if he did die, if this was what he was going to die, he should have been replaced by somebody who could fucking fill his shoes. And Aaron Taylor Johnson ain't gonna fucking cut it. At least for me, he didn't fucking cut it at all. He didn't fill those shoes. They were too big for him, and he fell flat on his ass. Anyway, so you have that sort of thing going on, and then I like Bryan Cranston. The effects are well done. When the few moments you see him, like fucking teases and fucking, you know, shit on a fucking TV screen with a fucking newscast, the little bits that you do see of him, it's impressive. He does look a little bit chunky, I'll admit. I think the Japanese were a little bit right on the money with that criticism. But, you know, there is a massive scale to this guy. You get the feeling that he's epically huge and he's big and he's gonna wreck everything. But then you focus more on the fucking Mutos who look like rejects from Cloverfield or rejects from Starship Troopers. No, fuck Godzilla. Well, this is a Godzilla movie. This movie's called Godzilla, but we'll focus more on these boring ass monsters instead. And I think that's one of the problems I have. The Mutos aren't that interesting. They're not that interesting to look at. They're not that different. They literally look like run-of-the-mill creatures you've seen in a million other type of movies. There's nothing that unique about them. And you don't buy that they can kick Godzilla's ass. I don't. So when he's having a hard time with two Mutos at the end, I'm calling bullshit on the whole thing. Because they don't look like they can really honestly kick Godzilla's ass. At least the other adversaries in the Godzilla movies, you could buy that they could, you know, get in a fight with Godzilla and maybe come out the victor, possibly. Like Gigan or Ghidorah, or, Mecha Godzilla, but or Space Godzilla, but what do you got here? Fucking one that flying creature looks like a fucking gremlin, or like a wannabe Rodan or Mothra, and then you got one that's just spindly leg fucking thing that's walking around. It's like, why are these things a match for Godzilla? Like, I don't. That's another thing. There wasn't an adversary, in my opinion, a worthy adversary for Godzilla to fight in this movie. So if you're gonna have these other monsters in it, the monsters better be unique. Shouldn't look like Cloverfield creatures, or they should at least, in my opinion, look like they could actually kick Godzilla's ass and be a match. But that didn't seem to be the case to me. Anyway, And another thing I liked about the movie, I like Ken Watanabe, the little bit that he had. I just think the whole scene where he says Godzilla's here to restore balance, I think the movie should have had a scene earlier where you saw Godzilla fuck up a Muto earlier on in the film. Not wait till the fucking end. Because you're building it up and building it up and building it. You know, there's such thing there is a such thing as a slow burn and a slow build. But I think there's a difference between a slow build and a bunch of fucking teases. And that's pretty much what this movie is. It's a giant tease up until the end where it shows you Godzilla for a little bit. He kicks a little bit of ass, but not nothing that epic, in my opinion. And then he goes off into the sea, and everybody applauds. And I'm the guy who's just sitting there shaking his head like, okay, that was kind of cool, but that's it? There's realistic. You know what? Fuck realism in a Godzilla movie. I'm sick and fucking tired of hearing this fucking argument about movies like this, especially needing to be realistic, and for some reason, in order for them to be well regarded by people. But I'm alone on that because it seems to be the truth. Because the more realistic the movie is, it seems like the more bigger of a hit it is. Because Edge of Tomorrow is not realistic. It's really fun and entertaining. But that movie's going to flop, and this movie's going to be a hit and going to get a sequel. And of course, like I said before, controversially, in the Cinema Blend stuff, and Talking Cinema, Goyer and Nolan and the success of The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises is to blame for that. Because Hollywood looked at the success of the massive success of those movies and said, let's apply that to every other fucking concept known to man. And it doesn't fucking work because Batman works because he's a real human being. He's just a rich guy with a bunch of gadgets. It makes sense. That could happen in real life. This is a movie, at the end of the day, about a giant fucking monster fighting other giant monsters. So fuck you and your realism. I don't give a fuck. It goes out the window as soon as I see a giant fucking lizard fighting a bunch of other monsters in a city. So stop with the fucking realistic fucking blockbuster sci-fi, action flicks. I don't go to the movies to sit down and watch a movie that looks like the same shit I'd see out my fucking window. Or like I said, if I want realism, I'll walk out my fucking door and take a walk down the fucking street. Sue me if I want some unrealism in my movies. Stuff that I've never seen before. And more of it. Because there's more fucking scenes of talking and people than there are of the monsters in this movie. And in my opinion, that's unfucking acceptable. And the reason why is not because I wanted wall-to-wall Godzilla or wall-to-wall monster fighting. It's because I wanted a good balance between the two. I wanted characters I gave a shit about, which I didn't get here. So you have all these characters, you have all this talking, you have all these people, but you don't give a fuck about the people. So you're sitting there watching these people, watching Ford Brody with this shitty ass accent, fucking wannabe fucking white Mike Tyson motherfucker, blah 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 blah. And you get the train, and you get the night train to 10, and you get over here, and you go there. I need to get away. Hey baby, I'm white, baby. So very white, baby. I mean, fucking Vanilla Ice looking motherfucker. And so you have this guy, and you don't give a fuck about this guy. So I'm stuck with this fucking guy, who I don't fucking like. And so I'm stuck with this guy and a bunch of nameless soldiers, and then you cut the fucking scenes with what seems like the twin sister of Naomi Rapici from Prometheus. I choose to believe it. I choose to believe this movie's a piece of shit, just like I chose to believe Prometheus was a piece of shit. So you have that chick who's speaking just because you have a British accent doesn't mean you're a good actress. Sorry, I thought she was miserable, just as bad as Naomi Rapici was, and Rapace, or whatever how the hell you pronounce her last name, in Prometheus, with their one-note acting. So you got her and the fucking bunch of nameless military guys. I don't even know what their names are, and if I did, the movie did explain them, I don't give a fuck, because I'm bored out of my fucking mind! It's driving me fucking insane! So, yeah, this movie makes me insane in the membrane! So anyway, I haven't been this pissed off at a fucking movie since the RoboCop remake. But like I said, this movie pisses me off so much more. And yeah, my internet thing just fell back. Fucking modem fell down because I'm so pissed, smacking the fucking computer, table around. The fucking, giant Godzilla-sized fucking, tirade and rant and raging like Godzilla on this fucking shitty ass Godzilla movie, and it's just that pisses me off. I'm sorry. It was shitty, boring ass fucking movie with barely no Godzilla. There's a few bits of monsters, and more scenes of characters, and more scenes of talking. And if you're gonna do that, you better damn well have characters I give a fuck about. Because if you don't, I'm bored, and I don't give a fuck what's happening. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I should not have to give a shit because you've done nothing to make me give a shit. So is it too much for me? It's too much to ask to have a monster movie that has equal parts monster in it and equal parts character. This movie has about 85 to 90% of character and people in it versus 10% of monster. Tell me how much sense that fucking makes for a monster movie. Especially with Godzilla. Oh, there's like even less Godzilla. There's more scenes with Mutos and people than there are of Godzilla. So, let's see, a Godzilla movie with about 97% Mutos and people and 3% Godzilla. I'm sorry, that's a fucking raw deal. That's like getting fucked up the ass with a 100-foot tall fucking dildo. And I'm sorry, I'm not liking it. I'm not liking that experience. I'm not liking getting fucked up the ass by a 100-foot tall, green, scaly dildo. Fuck that shit. 97% people and fucking Mutos and 3% of Godzilla, the fucking creature, the king of fucking monsters, who's on the cover of your goddamn poster and is the name of your movie. The title of your movie is Godzilla. And you have less Godzilla in your movie than you have of people and the other monsters. Unfucking acceptable, in my opinion. I don't understand how everybody can just gloss over that fact and be like, that's great because Jaws and Alien did it. Yeah, Jaws and Alien did that because they had good characters. And I hear a lot of people say the characters kind of suck. Even people who like the movie. So, how does this fit? How is this like Jaws and Alien again? Just because it has a slow burn? There's a lot of movies that have slow burns and suck ass too. You know that? I think this is one of them. Like, that's my main argument I have here. I don't see what's wrong with me feeling that way. To have equal parts monster, badass monster fighting, and equal parts character and story development. It's unequal. The scales are tipped in the wrong favor, in my opinion. If the film had those scenes where you tease Godzilla, you tease him one time. That scene with the tidal wave, and when the soldiers try to shoot him. When you see the side of his hide and they try to shoot him, and it's not doing shit, and then you see him roar. Okay, that's a good start. And then the rest of the scenes, you see Godzilla, he's kicking ass. I guess there's something wrong with more Godzilla. Is there a problem with more Godzilla? Do people have an issue with more Godzilla? I'm sorry, there's always room for more Godzilla, just like there's always room for more Jello. More Godzilla in your Godzilla movie. What is so fucking bad about that? What's so mind-blowingly awful? I mean, some people really honestly think that that's not a good idea. I've seen people say that. The fucking pretentious motherfucker on that article online who's only people who are couch potatoes and people a bunch of kids because they don't like the movie because they're a bunch of couch potatoes and they and they wanted wall-to-wall monster action and this movie didn't give it to them, so they're disappointed. No, I'm disappointed because this movie fucking sucked. I'm disappointed because I paid to see a movie called Godzilla and I got maybe not even. I'm not counting the fucking teasing scenes because you see Godzilla for like a brief moment, a fucking door closes, Or you see Godzilla, and then you cut to a scene where some little fucking kid is sleeping in his fucking bed, and then you cut to the newscast. You see Godzilla on the newscast, because yeah, we gotta cut away from the awesome monster battles to show you the coverage on the fucking news, which nobody wants to fucking watch, because nobody likes to watch the fucking news. I don't, and I don't want to see the fucking news in my Godzilla movie. Okay, you can see a little bit of it here and there. That's fine. To add a little bit of atmosphere. Fine. Do that. But stop teasing me. Okay? Like a fucking dime store fucking call girl. Who's the worst call girl hooker in the fucking world. Who gets you off. You're starting to get ready to, go wild. And then she fucking leaves. Then she keeps coming back and pleasuring you some more, and then you still can't get your release. You think you're gonna get your release, but then she fucking leaves again, and you're left with your limp dick in your hand. That's pretty much how I felt watching this piece of shit. Limp dick in hand, fucking thought I was gonna be excited, thought it was gonna be awesome, thought it was gonna be the best thing ever, so it was one of the best movies of the year, and I'm just left with my fucking lip dick in my hand, man. Awful feeling. Not necessarily the most prettiest analogy, but that's how that's the movie's a fucking limp dick. It's a limp fucking monster dick. Just limp. Just flaccid. Flaccidzilla. Anyway. Fuck. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, I want more. There's nothing wrong with having more. This is not a low-budget movie, Gareth Edwards. This isn't Monsters like you did before, where you didn't have the budget to show your monsters. This is a $160 million production. This is not a low-budget Godzilla flick from the 50s. This is a $160 million production. There's no excuse for not having more Godzilla. More Godzilla fighting scenes. There's no excuse for it. I'm sorry. I don't care what your pretentious argument may be or what the fuck you had in mind. In my opinion, it fucking sucks. It's not what I wanted to fucking see. I paid to see Godzilla, and I better damn well see Godzilla. And a lot more than just a teensy little bit of Godzilla. I'm sorry. I'm not pleased with that. Find that bunch of fucking bullshit. If you pay to see a Superman movie, you see just a little teensy bit of Superman. You pay to see a Batman movie, you see a little bit of Batman. You pay to see Iron Man, you see a little bit of Iron Man. So many people are okay with that. Like, oh yeah, because everything else was great, and I don't understand it. And that's why I get pissed, because I don't fucking understand it, and I don't want to, because it doesn't fucking make any sense to me. How you can look at a movie that's titled something. It's titled Godzilla, and he's not even the main attraction. He's not the main star. He's the second fiddle to the other fucking monsters until he shows up and finally kicks some ass. But in my opinion, it's not worth slogging through all the other boring ass fucking scenes of people I don't give a flying fuck about. So when you get to the scenes where Godzilla kicks some ass, they are underwhelming to me because they weren't worth the fucking wait. Could have been a lot better, in my opinion, the ending. The Godzilla fight scenes. How about this? How about he grabs a fucking Muto, grabs it out of the air, rips its fucking wings off, body slams the motherfucker, and uses his fire breath to finish it off? How about that? You know what the ending of this movie reminded me of? Is the ending of this fucking movie. This fucking movie, Transformers Dark of the Moon, which I saw in the theater, and I was pissed and fucking let down by the climax, supposedly the concluding trilogy to the Transformers films, and it ends with Optimus Prime kicking both Megatron and whatever, Ultra Magnus, whatever Prime, whatever the fuck his name is, voiced by Leonard Nimoy, and he kicked both their asses in what seemed like 30 fucking seconds. So you waited, because he took the shotgun and blew one of the robots' fucking heads off. And so you're waiting that long, and you've waited to this point, for 2 fucking movies, to get to the point where you have Optimus Prime battling whatever. I don't fucking remember, because I haven't seen this movie since then, because I was so disappointed with it. fucking Megatron, and he kicks his ass in like no time, and then he kicks the other guy's ass in no time, and then you're just like, what the fuck was that? Exactly. What the fuck was that in this movie, and what the fuck is this in this movie? Godzilla smacks one with his tail, falls on his ass because he's all winded. Yeah, because Godzilla's out of shape in this movie. I guess Godzilla needs to stop fucking eating ho-hos and fucking Twinkies and gets to fucking work out or some shit. Do some fucking swimming in the fucking ocean or whatever. Work off some of the fucking love handles or fat that he's got carrying around. Because I guess he's out of shape or he's an old manzilla because he fucking uses his tail one time and now he's winded and he's... So he uses his tail one time. And in my opinion, he should have used it more. Like, how about this? Grab one Muto, throw it up in the air, and use his tail like a baseball bat and send that motherfucker flying into a skyscraper. It wasn't as epic in scale as it should have been. I didn't care for Pacific Rim, but those fight scenes were 10 times better than anything in this movie. Pacific Rim had the stuff where the Gypsy Danger fucks up one of the monsters with a cruise ship, just smacks it right in the face. Took a sword and cut one in half. Godzilla should be having scenes that are equal to that. In my opinion, it wasn't even close, except for the one scene where he shows up like a ninja, because I guess Godzilla has fucking stealth powers, where he can teleport, and he just shows up to the Muto, rips open its, breaks its neck, rips open its mouth, and uses his fire breath and burns it, down the throat and out its ass, and okay, that's pretty cool. I'll admit that. But that's it! All the other shit was lame, in my opinion. It was not memorable. It wasn't that badass. He used his flame powers one time, and it looked like it didn't have any fucking effect on the Muto. So he uses the flame powers, okay? The first time he uses fire breath. It doesn't even look like it had any effect. The Muto just gets back up and starts kicking his ass again. And the end fight with end scenes of Godzilla are so awesome and so epic and so stunning. He fell on his ass twice! How many fucking movies have you seen where the end battle with the main hero and the bad guy ends with the fucking hero falling on his ass twice? I mean, except for maybe Rocky. But Rocky at least had the payoff. This had a little bit of a payoff, but not enough. The little bit of payoff to me was not worth the hour and 40-something minutes of fucking pain and misery I had to sit through with White Mike Tyson and his band of fucking merry men. Looking for a bomb. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. I mean, fuck. Just sing that song. Watch those fucking sequences. Play that song by the Gap Band just on repeat instead of fucking watch those fucking scenes where they're looking for a fucking bomb. Then what happens? Muto show up. I think they get the nuclear bombs. And I guess that's a great idea, screenwriter, that the one thing we're going to try to use to kill these things, it's actually what they eat. Convenience. Have a scene where it looks like they're gonna fuck. Mutos are gonna fuck in one scene, but they don't. Like, thank God. Don't need a repeat of King Kong Lives. But you know what? As shitty as King Kong Lives is, I'd rather watch that than this movie. Because it's not fucking boring. It's over the top, it's silly, it's goofy, it's dumb. But it's not boring. I'll take silly, goofy, over the top, and dumb any day over boring. This movie's just so fucking boring. If you find it exciting, that's fine. I didn't. I wasn't excited once. Even in the fight scenes at the end with Godzilla, I was just like, oh, yay. When Godzilla showed up, I'm like, oh, hi, Godzilla. God damn it, you're tearing me apart, Godzilla. You're tearing me apart. I was more entertained by The Room. The movie sucked ass. It's a terrible movie. But Godzilla just falls so flat, in my opinion. Even the climax is just not much of anything and not that memorable. He fire breaths, one Muto down, right down through its, out its ass. Cool, all right. Was it worth all that shit? Was it worth dealing with fucking Aaron Taylor Johnson, who can't act and is a shitty character? There's no character moment with that guy, so you don't give a fuck. Was it worth seeing Bryan Cranston die? Was it worth seeing Muto's do really unimpressive fucking scenes or attacks a train like I've seen a million other fucking disaster flicks, Cloverfield included? Is it worth all that? My opinion, fuck no! Damn it, yeah! I'm pissed! Because I expected more from this movie. I'm not going to lower my expectations for a movie I had high hopes for and then just be okay, that it was below expectations. And okay, I got some Godzilla, and a little bit of Godzilla that was there was good. I didn't really care for the other stuff, but Godzilla was good. It's not a fucking not good enough reason. Even if the scenes of Godzilla to me were good, I still think the movie sucked. Because in my opinion, I look at a movie as a whole. I don't look at a movie just because Godzilla had a couple scenes and I like those scenes, but the other stuff doesn't look good and I don't care about the other scenes. Then why the fuck do I need to watch it? Why the fuck would I need to watch the movie again? Like the Evil Dead remake. I like the scenes at the end. I like the gore. But you know what? I didn't give a fuck about the characters. They could all fucking die for all I care. And I didn't give a shit. So I didn't want to fucking I don't want to watch the movie again because I liked a little bit at the end. And you know what? If I want to watch a little bit at the end, I'll just watch a little bit at the end. But it wasn't worth the journey. It wasn't worth sitting through this boring ass fucking plot to get there. I know I'm 50 minutes in. I'm going to go on however fucking long I want to on this shit. But get it out of my system so I don't have to do it again. And I was thinking about doing this rant review after I saw some other Godzilla movies to get some context. But then I realized, you know what? I better do it now because I'm going to fucking forget it. And because in my opinion, this is a forgettable piece of shit. And I'm going to forget it. And then I'm going to have to watch this shit again. And I don't want to fucking watch this shit again. So that's why I'm just going to deal with it. And I'm just going to get it off my chest right now. So, anything else? Do I have anything else that I gotta just feel the need to fucking, rant on? Just rage on this fucking movie? I mean, like I said, the acting sucks for the most part. Characters suck. The wife of Aaron Taylor Johnson, she has no character development. So you don't give a shit when they get back together in the end. You know what? You want to. So when you have a scene like that, and it's supposed to have some heartfelt scene, and all you have in terms of that character moment with that woman and Aaron Taylor Johnson is that they had a kid, and then she wanted to fuck him, one scene, and then something happened and he had to go. That's it. All you know is that she wants to jump his bones, and she has a kid, and that's why you gotta care about her and care what happens to her. Bunch of fucking bullshit. You want a good example of a movie that does that better, that has a couple that actually you grow and learn to care about? The Abyss. James Cameron's The Abyss, which is an underrated movie in my opinion, one of the most underrated movies in the 1980s. Bud and Lindsay, Ed Harris, and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, they're separated in the beginning of this film. But throughout the rest of the movie, The Abyss, you learn and you understand why they loved each other. Why they still have love and passion for each other. And in the end, why they're willing to sacrifice their lives for each other. There's none of that in this movie. None of it. She just stays at home while Godzilla's doing whatever, and the Mutos are attacking. She's, being there for her kid, and Aaron Taylor Johnson is going off with the bomb squad. That's it. And then when he reunites with her at the end, there's nothing to it. The Abyss had impact with that. You want character development? Then give me character development. You want characters that I care about? Then give me characters. The Abyss does that. Godzilla doesn't do it. If you feel it does, to each their own. But I don't see how anybody can actually look at this movie and say that these characters are well developed. Like I said, they're cardboard cutouts. There's nothing to these characters. Other than Bryan Cranston for the little bit that you had, and you had a little bit of good things going on. Maybe it's revenge. No, we kill him off. And then we're left with shitty characters with shitty motivations. And even the motivation Ken Watanabe had didn't make any fucking sense. Or Godzilla wants to restore it, or what? Because we didn't see a scene earlier where he killed a Muto, so you don't really know that that's really his whole plan. So he has no back argument to back this up. So you can see why the military commander is like, no, I'm not taking that risk. A better screenplay, a better story would have had a scene, a crowd-pleasing scene, where Godzilla fucks up one Muto. Is that too much to ask? Just one more scene? More scenes? There's more scenes of Godzilla kicking ass. Is that too much? I guess it is. It's too much to ask for your $160 million movie. It's a little bit more scenes of Godzilla kicking ass. And a screenplay that is written a lot better, that isn't just a bunch of fill in the blanks, of fucking Mad Libs or some shit on fucking characters who you know nothing about. Choose your own adventure. Fucking choose your own adventure book would probably be better because you choose better fucking character motivations. Bullshit out of a hat. But they don't even do that. They're fucking lazy and there's nothing to these characters. So you don't care. And then the action scenes this movie have aren't exciting because the majority of them are a bunch of fucking teases. I know I'm repeating myself on that, but just thinking about that shit pisses me off. Makes me want to do this. Just seriously. Fuck. Bullshit. Just fucking kidding me. Just fucking teases. The action sequences there are there, majority of them are just fucking teases of Godzilla. Oh, here he is. He's got a Muto. He's got a Muto in his mouth. Oh no, here's the doors. Doors are closing. Doors closed. Oh, you don't see anything. Don't see anything. You can't see me. Like, what the fuck? Did John Cena direct those scenes? Can't see me. Oh. That pissed me off the most. These fucking teases. This movie doesn't deserve it. These movies don't earn those teases. Because those type of scenes in a movie like this, where you have the teases, the glimpse of a monster, work like an Alien or Jaws, because you care about the characters, because they're well developed. They aren't well developed here. You don't care about them. So when you have these teases, it just is basically just giving me this. Giving me this. Godzilla's flipping me off. Oh, Gadamuto, doors closing. Godzilla, before the doors close, Godzilla, ha ha ha. Like, Next scene. Oh, Godzilla's gonna do something. No, ha ha ha. Cut to the scene in Las Vegas on a fucking TV screen. Okay, alright. And then, fuck this shit. Fuck. That was giving me a fucking headache. Ugh. I can get this over with. So, okay, I'm going to try to do a final rundown on everything that is fucking wrong with this movie. Why it is a fucking fail on every scale, every part of my scale. Okay, this is my scale when it comes to a good movie, personally for me. Exciting, thrilling, involving, entertaining. No. Fail. All across the board. Fail. Fucking fail! You get an F! Okay? You get an F for fucktard. Okay? You're a fucktarded fuckhead, Godzilla. That's what you get. You get an F for fucktarded fuckhead, and somebody will want a foobar beyond all recognition. That's what you fucking get, Godzilla. An fucking F for fuckhead. So, because you do not at all pass that. And exciting, enthralling, interesting, captivating. None of that. I'm bored more than not. I'm bored about 95% in this fucking movie. I'm bored out of my goddamn mind. So you fucking failed, Godzilla. And yeah, I'll say it to your fucking green lizard face. Fuck you, Godzilla. You fucking failed. Your movie fucking sucks. And kiss my fucking ass. You big green lizard. Anyway. God. So, not exciting. Not interesting. Not enthralling. Not entertaining. Majority of the time, it's just epically boring. The score. Over the top. And it doesn't deserve it. So you have scenes where you have this really epic score, but there's nothing epic happening. So you have an epic score and then a helicopter taking off. That's like if I just had this sort of fun. Here's a fucking spoon, okay? We have a spoon here. A spoon. Okay? And according to this movie, you have a fucking epic score would happen when this spoon starts to go flying up towards the screen. Okay, so imagine this. Bum bum da 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 da. Yeah, yeah, that's your epic. Or somebody walking around. Da, da, da. In the fight, when you have a battle, when Godzilla decides to do something, and you actually get to see him do something, it's like this fucking slow ballad. You're like, what the fuck is this? What are you gonna start playing extremes more than words? More than words. It's like more than words. Why do you have to suck so much? So it's just, what the fuck? It's like this really slow score, like it's fucking Godzilla's funeral or some shit. You're like, what? And the other moment's just a plane taking, airplane taking, helicopter taking off. Da, 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 da. I mean, it's like, so yeah, I don't care for the score. It's over the top, and it's epic in places where it has no business being epic. So in my opinion, that's the score failed. Is it badly done? No, it's badly executed. So in a way, I would say the score doesn't completely suck, but it doesn't belong in the movie because the movie doesn't deserve it. Special effects. Okay, I'll give you a B. Okay, good effort. You had a big budget to work with. Good for you. So, okay, acting. All right, I'm giving it a D minus, and that's only for Ken Watanabe and Bryan Cranston. Everybody else had nothing to do or were shitty. I'm talking to you, White Mike Tyson, Aaron Taylor Johnson. Talking to you, you alien from another world. Look, acting motherfucker with the fakest Brooklyn accent I've ever heard in my life. If I could just vote him, I give him, a fucking grade Z. As in the fucking worst grade imaginable because it's even below an F. So, it's that fucking bad. Tone. That's something that's really important to me. Pretty much stayed the same. There weren't any moments where the film decided to be corny, over the top, and silly, and it remained pretty much serious throughout the whole film. But I'm still giving it a C. Why? Because honestly, you could have had some moments of levity at some points. It might have helped the enjoyment, might have spiced up the movie, might have made it not so goddamn boring because you're taking a movie about a giant monster fighting other giant monsters and you're treating it like it's fucking Shakespeare or some shit. It felt like that. It's just so fucking serious. It's like, give me a break. It could have used a little bit of levity. That's why I give it a C. You're average with your tone. Could be worse, but you could have used a little bit of levity. Action. I like my movies like this to have a good amount of action. You get a D minus again for like one scene with Godzilla when he fucks up that one Muto and burns its throat out. That's it. None of that other shit. Teasing Godzilla, giving me the middle finger, flipping me the bird, fucking me up the ass. Don't fucking count. Okay? Falling out of the sky with fucking red fucking smoke. It's just a bunch of fucking show and no fucking payoff. That scene doesn't need anything. Godzilla doesn't even eat the motherfuckers. Godzilla doesn't take them down. That is a completely pointless fucking scene that was just used to show in the trailer to show how different this movie is. It looked good. Sure did. Didn't lead to anything exciting. What about the train scene? Seen that done before a million fucking times in a million other monster movies. What about the scene where the Mutos wake up and they knock over like 3 fucking cranes and they move around really slowly? Oh my god, it's so fucking exciting. No. And why are all the goddamn scenes with monsters shot in fucking grayscale fucking lighting and darkness? And it's like, I understand what you're trying to do, but why does every scene it seem like with a monster had to be shot at night? Okay? Can't barely see the fucking things. And I didn't see this on a cam. I saw this in the theater, and even in the theater, it was kind of hard to see some of these monsters. Brighten up your movie a little bit. It doesn't have to be fucking, the day after already. It doesn't have to be like that. It's a movie about a giant monster fighting other giant monsters. Have some fun with it. Show me the creatures. Like, show me Godzilla! Please! So, anyway. So, yeah. Action scenes suck. D-. That one scene, that's it. Godzilla throat burns. Give one Muto a serious case of heartburn. That's it. That's all fucking... That's the only thing that even remotely I thought was badass. Everything else I thought was been there, done that, or lukewarm, limp-dicked, and just not memorable. So yeah, that's a lot of my scale. Like movies, this is how I look at a movie. I want it to be entertaining. This wasn't entertaining to me. I want it to be the plot to be interesting and captivating. The plot wasn't interesting or captivating to me. It really wasn't. It was like, I've seen this kind of plot. Aliens fall on Earth, whatever. Americans, scientists are a bunch of dumbasses and keep these things in captivity. They start waking up and cause fucking havoc. And now they try to stop it. They can't do it. So now it's up to some outside force to stop it. It's happened a bunch of times. Not like I've never seen that before. Okay? There's the Cloverfield, alien invasion movies, been there, done that. There was nothing new. It didn't bring anything new to the table except trying to make a boring, realistic version of Godzilla. Which I'm sorry, it was boring, and fuck the realistic version of Godzilla. I want to see the unrealistic version of Godzilla. Like the one in Godzilla GMK, where he's an undead fucking, beast of destruction. Biting fucking, dragons in the neck. It's what I'd like to see instead of this. Anyway, I'm really starting to run out of gas here, running out of energy. I'm almost getting to the point where I'm spent. But that's what I'm saying. It's just not an interesting plot. Not exciting. It was boring for the most part. The acting for the majority of it sucked ass. Especially Aaron Taylor Johnson. If they're doing the Razzies this year, he deserves a nomination and he should win it. He was so bad. I thought fucking Joel Kinnaman was better in the RoboCop remake, and he sucked. That's how bad Aaron Taylor Johnson was in this movie. And that was your lead. The only thing that made the acting a little bit somewhat tolerable was Bryan Cranston, but he fucking dies. Fucking great! Well, anyway, so then you have the acting. I thought really pretty much was almost a complete fail. The effects were pretty good. Should be. Score, like I said, was over the top and epic when it didn't deserve to be epic because there's nothing epic happening. And for anything, any other sort of scale, like I said, tone, that's important to me. It pretty stays consistent, but could have had a little bit of lighter tone at points. Didn't have to be so super serious all the damn time. And pretty much that's a lot of the things. The entertainment factor, it was boring to me. And that's the death knell. That is the fucking last nail in a movie's coffin for me. If it's boring, it's fucking... It's not my cup of tea. I don't like the movie. If you're boring me to tears, there's no reason for me to sit down and watch you ever again. Because you bored me to fucking tears. I'd rather not be bored. I'd rather... And anybody else who feels that way about any other movie, whether or not movies that I like. So people can look at Darkman and RoboCop 2, whose movies are boring, and I think they suck. Fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Go right ahead. Everybody finds their different movies that they like and that they don't like, and movies they find boring, and the movies they don't find boring. I found this movie to be insufferably boring. Epically boring. The only thing that this movie had... The only thing that Godzilla was epic at was being fucking boring. That's my opinion. I don't know, everyone's entitled to feel differently. And I know like about 95, 92% or 98% of the people, majority rules, mob rules here, pretty much disagree with me. And that's fine. I just thought this movie was an epic, fucking, gigantic, monster-sized fail. of epic proportions. Failed all the way across the board. It failed to deliver. It failed to make my, failed to raise my dick up. It failed to make me excited. It's failed to live up to my expectations I had for the film. At the end of the day, that's the worst fucking feeling. When you put your expectations high on a movie you really want to see, and you think it looks great, and you see it, and you're like, man, that was a piece of shit. And people might not agree with me. A lot of people don't agree with me and my feelings on this movie. But everyone has shared that feeling, a disappointment, with at least a few movies in their life. They've shared that disappointment. You all know how I feel. You might not share the same feelings that I'm feeling about this movie, and that's fine. But I know you feel my pain. And it could be any other, it could be, because it's just might not be related to this movie. It's related to another movie. But I know you feel my pain, and I know you know that that's the worst feeling in the world. And I don't think that I have to lower my expectations down to the basement, because I think that's bullshit, and I'm not settling for that. I should not have to change my expectations for a movie in order for me to go see it. I'm going to keep my expectations as high as I fucking want them to be, or as low as I want them to be. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's seeing the movie. And this movie just failed to live up to the expectations I had for it. It didn't live up to the hype. The trailers and teasers were better than the whole movie because that's all we fucking saw. Okay? I thought the teasers and the trailers, like I said, a bunch of times in this rant, were going to be just a little bit of the shots of Godzilla in order to save the best for the movie. In reality, other than a little bit at the end, you saw all the scenes of Godzilla in the trailers and the teaser. And in my opinion, that's a bunch of fucking bullshit. For a movie called Godzilla, it deserved a lot more than that. It deserved more than just fucking teases of Godzilla. And more scenes of Mutos and the fucking people that I didn't give a shit about. Who could have gotten fucking immolated by fucking Godzilla's fire breath for all I fucking cared, because you don't fucking learn anything about them. There's no reason for you to give a shit about them. Especially for Brody. And then I'm already pissed at the movie because it killed off one character I liked. And Bryan Cranston. Great. So it's not because Bryan Cranston isn't the star that I hate it. Like I said earlier, he could have died and then he replaced him with a better guy who filled his shoes and can actually do it. I would be fine with him dying. But they fucking failed there because Aaron Taylor Johnson fucking sucked. So they did not do that job. They did not do that properly, in my opinion. And it could be a slow burn, but the buildup should have been worth it. In my opinion, it wasn't. It wasn't worth the buildup because there wasn't really. There was no slow burn. It didn't burn. It was a fire that never started. It never started. In my opinion, we didn't start the fire. It did not start. So, in my opinion, it wasn't even a slow burn. So, that's how I feel about Godzilla. I think it's a slow burn movie. Bullshit. It's a fire that never started. And the characters suck for the most part. The one character you like dies. The other character you might like doesn't have enough screen time. And the sequences of Godzilla, there's not enough of them. Majority of them are fucking teases. And then when you get to the end, when you see Godzilla, he has one badass move, and the rest of it's just like, I've seen more in other Godzilla movies. Like Godzilla versus a small monster or so forth. Or Godzilla GMK, or Godzilla versus Sea Monster, or Godzilla, the 1954 film. He didn't really fight monsters in that, but he caused a lot more damage, in my opinion. And that's my fucking phone. My phone's low on battery. It's even talking to me. It doesn't like Godzilla either. It's like, had enough of that. So anyway, that's it. I don't really know what else to say about Godzilla. Except I fucking hated it. Hated this piece of shit. This fucking gigantic fucking monster turd on my face. Godzilla. This movie pretty much could have just been Godzilla pissing on me for, for 2 hours. It felt that fucking bad, and it was that unpleasant for me to sit through this fucking piece of shit. So if you feel differently, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And I really don't know what to say except fuck this movie. Fuck it to hell and back. You know, nuke this motherfucker from orbit. You know, drop an atom bomb on Godzilla's ass. Because he sucks so much. He deserves to get eradicated from the fucking planet. That's pretty bleak, but that's how I feel. I'm not in a good mood. Talking about this movie just pisses me off. Just want to go in a fucking rage. So Riddle Mistakes, I'm rated out of 5 stars. There's only like one thing I liked. A couple of things I liked about it. The few scenes of Godzilla that I saw. The one scene where he gives Muto a serious case of heartburn, and the whole thing with the Bryan Cranston was good. It was great actually, and Ken Watanabe, and I guess they gotta combine those 3 things. It'd be 1 star. It's probably being kind. I always want to give it 3/4 a star. I'm gonna do it. I've never done this before. 3/4 of a star. Yeah, 3/4 of a star. Not giving it half. 3/4 of a star, because I liked 2 actors in 1 scene of Godzilla. The rest of it I don't give a fuck about, and I forgot about already, and I have no desire to watch again. So, yeah, 3/4 of a star. So yeah, not a fan of this movie. Like I said, I think the RoboCop remake, as much as I hated that, is better than this because I didn't have any expectations for that movie. I had high expectations for this movie, and this movie fucking failed to meet them. All across the fucking board. So anyway, I really don't know what to say except for watching my profanity-filled, profanity-laced, angry tirade against Godzilla 2014, and I will see you guys later. God damn it, Godzilla! God damn it! Fuck you! Piece of shit! Yeah, that's right! Fuck you, Godzilla! See you guys later. Fucking piece of shit. Piece of shit!